This is another in our series of medical innovations, programs on medical innovation in Israel. And our guest is Dr. Lev-Tov, Aharon Lev-Tov. Welcome to the show. Now,
Thanks.
you're chair of a department that, as I saw it, was anatomy and cell biology. It seems an unusual name of a department.
Well, it used to be anatomy and cell biology, and well, this is the routine in these days. I mean, they change anatomy to anatomy and cell biology or something like that in order to be compatible with the research and not only the teaching that is performed in the department. Practically, the Department of Anatomy and Cell Biology has been fused recently with the Department of Physiology, so now I'm chairing the Department of Medical Neurobiology, so this is our new politically correct name.
It's not just politically correct, though, isn't it? A functional reason, because, after all, anatomy or macroanatomy is a finished science. There's not much more to do in macroanatomy, is there?
This is more or less correct, and actually it reflects the research fields of all the members of the department. We have 18 academic positions in the department. I guess that probably 17 out of them are neuroscientists.
So it's really the new area.
It reflects the
neuroscience.
research of the department and not the teaching. The teaching is still anatomy and physiology.
Now, when you have this dilemma of you're teaching anatomy and physiology and you're doing research in other areas, isn't there a tension between the two? I mean, it's in all universities and all departments now.
Well, actually, there is no much tension between the teaching and the research. After all, I mean, the basics of our research has to do with anatomy and physiology. And we are neurophysiologists by education, and of course, we have a background in anatomy. But the teaching itself, the routine teaching load involves teaching gross anatomy, which is pretty far from what we do in our research. However, I mean, when you're in the field, you're in the field of neurophysiology research and neurobiology research, I think that the teaching is better, even in the basic aspects of anatomy and physiology that we teach on
You
a
don't
regular
find the
basis.
younger researchers starting to resent having to teach gross anatomy?
Well, I mean, this is one of our duties, and we're part of the medical school, and this is part of the medical education, and it is very important. So we teach when we also have courses for PhD and MSc students, more advanced courses which are closer to our fields of research. Actually, they're exactly the same. But I mean, this is one of our basic duties, and we have to educate the next generation of physicians, and we'd like to do the best job in this case. And I believe that when you're an active scientist, your teaching is benefited, and it's better and more updated. And that's what I try to do during, I teach, for example, motor control and several neurological diseases and so forth in anatomy. And I bring examples from my research, and I try to update the teaching material, and so it's more modern and attractive to students. And I'm not getting bored during my own lectures as well, so it's good.
One of the other dimensions of the tensions in university, it's not directly bearing on research, but it's about the organization of research. Your research is involved many more people than are involved in cell biology or something like that, or neurophysiology. You're involving people in computer science, I'm sure, different disciplines in your research unit, because you have to bring other skills to bear. Mm-hmm. So much research is interdisciplinary. And then you pull the research off into a separate field in order to do that. doesn't that also create another dimension in which you're torn between, say you create like IMRIC, an Institute for Medical Research, Israel, Canada, and you've got the research center there, and you've got your teaching load there, and your administration, a further division on your responsibilities? Because I think administrators, people don't understand that university administrators, if they're active researchers and teachers, are torn in many, many different directions now.
You're absolutely right, and for this reason we have 24 hours every day. So I do not spend as much time as I want at the lab in these years, and I try to catch up, and I try to do it. And in my type of research, I do much of the work myself with my own hands, not only my students, including the programming, including the experiments, intracellular recordings from cells, and so forth and so on. And it's not easy, and you have to divide your time rather efficiently in order to be competent enough in all the fields that you're supposed to be competent.
And then, of course, you have the other dimension. I assume you're collaborating with people all over the world, but do you have some collaboration with Canadians? Because research is so internationalized now. You talk about a global movement. Research is very globalized.
Yes, of course. I mean, you're absolutely right about the kind of specification of research and the need for interdisciplinary research. And of course, we have many collaborations because you cannot do everything yourself, and each one has his own expertise, and we help each other. So in my case, I have collaborations in even another medical center, studies of spinal cord injury patients. I have collaborations with people in my department, collaborations in Germany, collaborations at the NIH in the United States, and recently we started some collaborations with Canadian scientists. And actually,
where are those Canadian scientists?
Well, the group that I'm associated with right now is in Calgary, in the Brain Research Institute. But I have many friends in different places in Canada, and we meet each other in neuroscience meeting and several other scientific meetings throughout the years. I have good friends and colleagues in Winnipeg, in Edmonton, in Montreal.
So you have a lot of work with people. Now, in this, you're also in a big booming field, brain research and spinal research and spinal motor. It's mushrooming. I want to get into the kind of sense of the historical pattern that's emerged in your history of going, because you've been in the field for quite a while. It's radically changed. When I was in medical school it was fairly simple, and we thought nothing's changed. You can't do much in that area. That's not the vision now, and I'd like to get a sense of how it changed. But before we get into, we'll take a break, because it'll take you some time, I'm sure, to say a little bit about it. We'll take a break now and come back to it, okay?
Whatever.
Okay.